Welcome, gents. People think they understand quiet men until they meet one who thinks 10 times deeper than he speaks. There is something strangely fascinating about Sigma males. Not because they talk loud or move in dramatic ways, but because their minds work on a level that feels almost unreal. They are the kind of men who live in the background, yet somehow see everything. They make bold choices without raising their voices. They pick up signals most people never notice. And the strangest part is that they do all of this without trying to impress anyone. Their weirdness is not random. It is a result of how they were shaped by life, solitude, and the way their brain collects information. A Sigma male can sit in silence and still understand the mood of every person in the room. He can feel when someone is holding back the truth. He can detect hidden intentions before anyone else realizes something is off. People often mistake this for luck. It is not luck. It is a mind that watches more than it talks. What makes them even stranger is their ability to disconnect emotionally the moment a situation becomes unsafe. 1 minute they seem present. The next minute it is as if they stepped into another mental world. They do this to protect their peace, not to punish anyone. Their habits and instincts often confuse people because they do not follow common patterns. They follow their own internal compass. That compass is what makes them misunderstood, unpredictable, and incredibly interesting. In short, their weirdness is real. Their depth is real. And once you understand how they operate, it becomes impossible to see them as ordinary. Let's dive deeper, gents. Number 1. They build whole scenarios in their head before acting. This is not fantasy, and it is not worry. It is more like mental chess, where they check every hidden corner long before they make a single move. This habit seems strange to people who act first and think later. A Sigma male moves differently. His mind works like a quiet engine that stays 2 or 3 steps ahead without making noise about it. He does not rush into choices because he knows every decision has a ripple effect. So instead of jumping into things blindly, he imagines the entire situation from start to finish. He studies the possible outcomes, the motives of people involved, and the consequences that may show up later when the excitement is gone. Think of someone planning to switch careers. Most people look at the salary and the title and jump. A Sigma male imagines the daily routine, the energy it will require, the kind of people he will deal with, and the emotional cost of the change. If any part of the picture feels wrong, he waits, not because he is scared, but because he wants to move with clarity, not confusion. This ability shows up even in small, everyday moments. If a friend invites him into a business idea, he will not say yes immediately. He will not say no immediately either. He will walk through the idea in his mind. He will imagine what the partnership could turn into 6 months from now. He will picture the workload, the disagreements, the responsibility, and the level of trust required. By the time he answers, he already knows the full story. People sometimes mistake this for overthinking. It is not. Overthinking creates fear. His version creates clarity. He is not trying to avoid life. He just understands that the wrong move can drain energy and peace for a long time. So he takes his time to view things from every angle. He chooses direction only when he sees everything clearly, even the parts others usually ignore. This mental chess is what protects him from chaos. It is what helps him make decisions that look slow on the surface but end up being incredibly accurate. It is one of the reasons he stays grounded, while others keep dealing with regrets they never planned for. Number 2. They walk through life with the awareness of someone who has lived many times before. Their wisdom does not come from age, but from depth. It feels ancient and unsettling to others because it is rare to meet someone who understands life without needing a long timeline to learn from it. A Sigma male has a way of reading situations that makes people wonder how he knows things so quickly. It is not magic. It is not intuition alone. It is a form of quiet observation mixed with painful lessons he never forgot. While most people rush through life, he studies it. He listens to the parts others ignore. He notices how people behave when they think no one is paying attention. He sees patterns repeating in human behavior. All of this gives him the kind of insight most people only gain much later in life. For example, he can meet someone for the first time and sense the emotional story behind their confidence. He can tell who is pretending to be strong. He can tell who is wounded, but hiding it. He can tell when someone's kindness is genuine and when it is a tool. This ability often scares people because it feels like he is looking through them instead of at them. Another example is how he reacts to problems. While others panic, he becomes calm. It is the calmness of someone who feels like he has seen the same type of challenge in another life. He understands that most storms pass. He knows that emotional reactions create more damage than the problem itself. So he approaches everything with a level of patience that feels almost unreal. Even in relationships, he moves with maturity that feels far beyond his age. He can sense when a connection is losing its direction. He can sense when someone is emotionally unstable. He can sense when a person is about to change. He adjusts quietly because he already understands what comes next. This ancient depth can intimidate people because they are used to shallow reactions and predictable emotions. His mind works from a place of inner history, an invisible archive of lessons learned from watching, reflecting, and growing. He moves through life as if he has been here before, because emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, it feels like he has. Number 3. They can replay entire conversations in their mind like saved audio files. A Sigma male remembers the exact tone, pause, and emotional energy of what you said even months later. Their recall is so sharp that it feels like they time travel to moments already lived. This is not some dramatic superpower. It is the result of a mind that pays attention with a level of depth most people never reach. While others only remember the words spoken, he remembers the emotion behind the words. He remembers the silence between sentences, the shift in your breathing, the moment your voice cracked a little, the part you rushed through, and even the sudden change in your body language. All these details stay stored in his mind with a clarity that surprises people when he brings them up later. Imagine telling him something casually during a late-night conversation. You might forget it by the next week. He will remember it months later with almost perfect accuracy. If you told him you were scared of repeating a past mistake, he will recall that exact moment when you hesitated before saying it. If you admitted a dream you never had the courage to chase, he will remember the spark in your voice. This is why he often understands you better than you understand yourself. This ability also protects him. When someone lies, he does not need proof. He already remembers the original version of the story. If you said something in January and changed the details in April, he notices instantly. He does not react loudly. He simply takes note. It is the quiet observation that allows him to see the truth long before others do. This recall helps him connect patterns in people. He remembers how someone acted the first time they were stressed. He remembers the tone they used when they apologized. He remembers the energy shift when someone tried to hide insecurity. None of it fades from his mind, and this is why he rarely repeats mistakes with people. His memory acts like a map. It shows him where the real intentions are. It shows him what needs to be avoided. It shows him who is genuine and who is pretending. To others it feels supernatural. To him it is simply paying attention in a world where most people only listen for their turn to speak. Number 4. They live in mental timelines you cannot see. A sigma can make a decision today based on a future version of himself that he already knows he will become. They think from tomorrow backward. This is one of the most fascinating and confusing traits they carry because most people think from the present forward. But a sigma starts with the destination already formed in his mind. Then he works his way back to the moment he is standing in. He does not wait for the future to reveal itself. He builds it internally first. For example, if he decides to change his lifestyle, he does not picture who he is right now. He imagines who he will be in 5 years. He sees that version clearly. He studies how that version behaves, what he cuts off, what habits he keeps, how he thinks, and what standards he refuses to compromise. Once that future version makes sense to him, he begins shaping his choices today to match that version. This is why people often misunderstand his decisions. They see him walking away from opportunities that look good on the surface, and they think he is wasting chances. What they do not understand is that he is not choosing for the moment. He is choosing for the man he is becoming. If a path does not fit that future, he turns away without regret. Imagine a job offer that pays well, but drains his spirit. Many people would take it for the short-term reward. A sigma refuses because the man he sees himself becoming cannot thrive in that environment. His decision looks strange today but makes perfect sense in the long run. Another example is relationships. If he senses that a connection will undermine his growth years from now, he steps back early. Not because he does not care, but because he thinks in long arcs. He sees the emotional cost that others ignore until it is too late. This mental timeline is what makes him patient when others panic, decisive when others hesitate, and calm when others feel lost. He already knows where he is going, and every choice he makes is a quiet step toward that future version of himself. Thinking from tomorrow backward gives him clarity that others only gain after life has forced them to learn the hard way. Number 5. They can vanish mentally while sitting right beside you. Their body stays, but their mind slips into another dimension of thought. You could be talking to them, and they would hear every word, yet a part of them is not fully present. It is not disrespect. It is not boredom. It is simply the way their mind operates when something deeper calls for attention. A sigma male can be in a room filled with people, nodding, responding, participating in conversation, and still drift away into a silent inner space. This is not daydreaming. It is more like going to a private workshop inside their mind, where they repair thoughts, study ideas, and solve puzzles that no one else knows exist. Their inner world is always active. It pulls them in the same way gravity pulls everything else. For example, imagine having a conversation with them about something simple, like plans for the weekend. Suddenly their eyes soften, their focus shifts slightly, and you sense they are somewhere else. They are still listening, but their awareness is divided. In that moment, they might be thinking about a long-term decision, analyzing something someone said earlier, or exploring a problem they have been trying to understand. This habit can confuse people. Someone might think they are uninterested or emotionally distant. In reality, they are processing life on a deeper layer. Their thoughts have layers within layers, and sometimes those layers demand attention more than the surface moment. They can explore entire scenarios, recall details from past conversations, or contemplate decisions they have not spoken about. Their ability to slip into these inner rooms makes them appear mysterious. You feel their presence, yet you also feel something about them is far away. It is like talking to someone who is both here and beyond. This unusual ability allows them to stay calm, to understand themselves better, and to make choices with clarity. While others react instantly, they step inward, think, and return with a sharper mind. Their mental world is their sanctuary, and sometimes it is more interesting than the physical space around them. Number 6. They never fully live in the present moment. Part of them is always observing from a distance, as if watching their own life from above. They are half participant, half witness. This dual perspective is what makes Sigma males feel mysterious, even to the people closest to them. While others get swept up in the noise, drama, or excitement of the moment, they remain quietly aware of the bigger picture, noticing details and patterns that most people miss. For example, during a lively conversation, they are listening not just to words, but to the subtle cues beneath them. The tone, pauses, and body language all feed into a mental map of what is really happening. They might laugh, comment, and engage fully on the surface, but their mind is running ahead and behind, connecting dots, predicting outcomes, and cataloging insights. This constant observation gives them wisdom beyond their years, but it also makes them feel a little untouchable. People sense that they are not entirely present, and that part of their attention is reserved for something only they can see. Another example is in relationships. They love and engage, but there is always a part of them stepping back, assessing and understanding. They notice emotional patterns, tendencies and behaviors before others even realize they exist. This ability allows them to navigate life with a calm that feels uncanny, but it also creates a layer of distance that can be hard for others to penetrate. Their partial detachment is not a flaw or an escape. It is a survival strategy that sharpens perception and preserves clarity. By never fully merging with the moment, they protect themselves from chaos while still participating in life. This way of living creates a blend of insight, calm, and mystery, which makes them quietly fascinating. They move through the world with a perspective that most people spend decades trying to achieve, and that perspective is what sets them apart. Number 7. Their dreams carry messages that feel prophetic. They do not dream in random scenes or scattered ideas like most people do. Their dreams move with intention. They show symbolic visions, familiar strangers, warnings and repeating patterns that seem to follow them into real life. A Sigma male often wakes up with the sense that his mind tried to tell him something important while he slept. Sometimes it is a direction he needs to take. Sometimes it is a reminder about someone's true intentions. Other times it is a quiet warning about a situation he has been ignoring. To him, dreams are not just nightly stories. They act like spiritual maps. They reveal pieces of information that the conscious mind has not fully processed yet. They highlight truths he already sensed but had not fully accepted. They connect dots that his waking thoughts have been trying to organize. What makes this even more striking is the accuracy. Months later, he might find himself in a place or moment that mirrors a dream he had long ago. A face he saw in sleep appears in his reality. A choice he felt guided toward suddenly makes complete sense. His dreams are not mystical in a dramatic way. They are simply reflections of how deeply his mind pays attention. Even when he rests, his intuition continues to work. His inner world never sleeps. Number 8. They sense spiritual parasites in people. Jealousy, envy, and bitterness are not just emotions to them. These energies feel alive. A Sigma male can walk into a space and immediately feel when someone carries something heavy and dark inside them. It is not magic. It is awareness. It is sensitivity that has been sharpened by experience and survival. Most people focus on words and actions. A Sigma pays attention to what sits beneath the surface. He feels the tension behind a smile. He notices when admiration is mixed with quiet resentment. He senses when someone celebrates him in public, but competes with him in private. Negative energy has a weight to it, and he can feel it even before the person speaks. For example, he might be in a group conversation and everything looks normal. People are laughing, everyone seems friendly, yet something feels off. His spirit gives him a small pull, a silent message saying something is not right. Later, he discovers that one person in the room was speaking against him or secretly hoping to see him fail. His intuition detected the bitterness long before he had any evidence. He does not treat envy or jealousy as harmless feelings. To him, they behave like spiritual parasites. They attach themselves to people and quietly influence how those people act. They drain kindness. They distort intentions. They poison relationships from the inside. A Sigma does not fear these energies, but he respects their impact. He knows they can create betrayal and unnecessary conflict if he ignores them. This sensitivity is one of the reasons he protects his peace so carefully. When he senses someone who carries emotional parasites, he quietly distances himself. He does not accuse or confront. He simply chooses not to let their energy enter his life. Many people misunderstand this and think he is too cautious or too distant. They do not realize that he is reading spiritual weather patterns that they cannot see. His awareness helps him avoid unnecessary chaos. It helps him stay grounded and safe. To him, this is not paranoia. It is wisdom. It is the instinct of someone who has learned to trust the signals that others often ignore. Number 9. They know when someone has a secret. A Sigma knows something is off even if you hide it behind smiles. They sense inner contradictions immediately. This is not about reading body language alone. It is about perceiving the subtle energy that leaks through when someone is not fully honest. A small hesitation, a fleeting change in tone, a micro-expression, these are all signals to him, and he pieces them together with almost surgical accuracy. For example, you could be telling a happy story about your weekend, laughing and acting cheerful, but if part of you is holding back guilt, fear, or regret, he will notice it. He does not need to ask direct questions. He does not force confessions. He simply observes and processes, storing details for future understanding. Over time, he builds a mental map of who you are and what you might be hiding, often before you even realize it yourself. This ability makes him incredibly difficult to deceive. People can try to perform honesty, but the slightest contradiction in emotion or behavior becomes instantly visible to him. He can sense when intentions do not align with words, or when someone's outer calm is masking inner turmoil. He reads the hidden layers of people as easily as reading a book, making it nearly impossible to manipulate him. An example of this might be a colleague claiming to support a project while secretly undermining it. A Sigma senses the hidden resistance or envy even if no one else notices it. In personal relationships, he can feel when someone is pretending to be happy or pretending to care. His awareness is not judgmental. It is protective, a way of navigating the world while maintaining clarity and peace. This trait adds to the aura of mystery that surrounds him. People often feel like he knows more than he lets on, and in a way, he does. By sensing secrets, contradictions, and hidden motives, he moves through life with a level of perception that is rare. He sees beyond appearances, understands hidden truths, and navigates human complexity with calm precision. Number 10. They create emotional distance even from people they love. It is not coldness. It is simply a survival habit learned from life. This is one of the most misunderstood traits of Sigma males, because people often think they are pulling away out of lack of care. In reality, they care deeply, sometimes more than they show, but they learned early that emotional closeness can come with unpredictable storms. So instead of rushing into emotional intensity, they create space that protects their peace and their sense of self. This distance is not rejection. It is a pause that helps them stay grounded. For example, imagine someone who grew up being the emotional anchor for everyone. Maybe he was the person friends came to whenever they were breaking down. Maybe family members leaned on him without thinking about his own feelings. Over time, that kind of role teaches someone to stay slightly apart, not because they want to, but because it becomes the safest way to remain balanced. When a Sigma loves someone, he does not drown in the relationship. He values space the same way he values loyalty. He knows that constant emotional closeness can blur personal boundaries. So he creates a quiet gap that allows him to breathe, think, and observe. This gap helps him understand what he feels without the pressure of performing emotions. An example of this is when he is overwhelmed. Instead of exploding or complaining, he steps back. He may stay quiet for a while. He may go for a walk. He may work on something alone. Those moments of distance are not a sign of fading love. They are his way of resetting so he can come back stable and engaged. Another example is in conflict. He will not argue endlessly. He will take space to calm down because he knows that saying things in anger damages trust. The distance protects both him and the relationship. This trait becomes a strength because it prevents emotional burnout. It keeps the relationship honest. It keeps resentment from building. It allows him to love without losing himself. People who understand this side of him never see the distance as abandonment. They see it as the quiet wisdom of someone who learned to love with balance rather than chaos. Number 11. They can go from warm to unreachable overnight. It is not mood swings, it is self-protection. Once something breaks inside their mind, they shut the door. This is one of the most confusing traits of Sigma males because the shift feels sudden to everyone else, but to them it is the final step in a long, quiet process that no one noticed. A Sigma can be genuinely warm one day. He can laugh with you, talk freely, and show a level of comfort that feels rare. Then something happens. It might be a small comment that hits the wrong place. It might be a repeated pattern that confirms a suspicion he has been trying to ignore. It might be a moment that exposes a hidden intention. Whatever it is, his mind registers it as a violation of trust or peace, and the moment that happens, he withdraws completely. For example, imagine he confides in someone, and that person casually tells another friend. It might seem small to them. To him, it is a breach. He may not confront it. He may not argue. He simply adjusts. That adjustment looks like distance. Emotional doors close quietly, and once that door closes, he rarely opens it again. Another example is when someone shows inconsistency. If he notices you say one thing today and act a different way tomorrow, he starts stepping back. He does not wait for things to escalate. He removes himself before the situation grows into something painful. People often take this personally. They think he is angry or playing games. In reality, he is protecting his inner world from unnecessary damage. His warmth is real, but it is selective. It is given to people he feels safe with. Once that safety is shaken, even slightly, he retreats into a space where no one can reach him. This sudden switch is not emotional immaturity. It is a skill he learned from past experiences where he stayed too long in the wrong environments. He learned that silence preserves energy, distance preserves sanity, boundaries preserve identity. The shift feels like a door slamming to others, but to him it feels like survival. It is his way of saying he values his peace enough to walk away quietly, rather than stay and keep getting hurt. In final words, some minds see the world not as it is, but as it whispers beneath the surface. Sigma males are some of the most fascinating and perplexing personalities you will ever encounter. They are quietly intense, deeply aware, and unpredictable in ways that make people question reality around them. Their traits are not flashy or performative. They do not show off. Instead, they operate on a level of perception and awareness that most people do not even know exists. From storing information like a living archive to making people confess without asking a single question, their minds work in ways that feel almost supernatural. They can shift from warmth to distance in an instant, protect their peace by removing negative energies, and navigate mental timelines that seem decades ahead of everyone else. They observe the world while partially living outside of it, sensing secrets, reading emotional energy, and even interpreting dreams like a map of unseen truths. Solitude is not lonely to them. It is a space for restoration and wisdom. What makes Sigma males truly unique is how natural all of this feels to them. They do not force understanding, they do not hunt for attention, and they do not act for approval. Their presence alone influences the people around them, whether by drawing out confessions, inspiring reflection, or silently revealing truth. To witness a Sigma male in action is to see intelligence, intuition, and emotional depth in a form that defies ordinary explanation. Their world is layered, their awareness is sharp, and their impact is profound. They are living reminders that some of the weirdest, quietest traits hold the greatest power. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.